If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please consider hitting the like button. It really does help the video out, even if I don't deserve it because I'm terrible at video games. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for absolutely no reason, the link for that is down below. If you do need any coins, head over to u7buystore.com. Use the code TVM at checkout for a discount. The link is in the description. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to the Brentford save. Oh my god. It's falling apart. We are losing control. We have players going everywhere and nothing I can do to stop them. Maksimovic wants to leave, wants to win the title. I said, hey, look, we can challenge for it. I'm not going to lie to you and say we're going to win it, but we can challenge and we'll be there or thereabouts. Not good enough, want to go, hands in a transfer request. He's probably going to Manchester United. Out of my hands. Maitland-Niles not happy with the level of football he's playing. Said to him, you're going to be getting a lot more football going forward. I can't say to him, hey, look, Bastoni's going. You'll now be the cover for the left back. You'll be playing intermittently with Barisic. But nope, doesn't matter. Don't care. Want to go. Fantastic. We're actually getting a lot of money for Maitland-Niles if he decides to go to Real San Sebastian, which of course is Real Sociedad. If he decides to go there, we will eventually get 31 million, but we'll get 19.5 up front, which I think is actually very good. I think he cost about 5. Bastoni still in contract talks with West Ham. Looking to get about 25 for him, 29 after everything is done. Stanisic is a player that I really, really don't want to leave. And I don't remember promising him this, but apparently I said that if a deal comes or an offer comes of 45 million or above, that I would accept it. I don't remember having that conversation because I don't think I would have said yes to that. Atalanta have come in and said, hey, here's 44.5 and we'll raise it or raise it. It'll go up to 57. We're about to receive a hell of a lot of money, but we are about to lose 4 very good players. Maitland-Niles I could cope with losing, to be fair. Bastoni, if we had Maitland-Niles, Bastoni going wouldn't be a problem. I have 12 hours left of deadline day to be able to replace these players. Things are developing here at Brentford Towers. We have managed to secure a replacement, at least for the season, or the remainder of the season, for Maksimovic, and his name is Donny van der Beek. Of course, he was at Manchester United. He was on the transfer list for nearly 2 years before he finally made the move to Atletico Madrid. And for whatever reason, it hasn't really worked for Donny at Atletico. Not a bad player, to be honest. I mean, he's not really Maksimovic, but then he's not... I mean, to be fair, he's actually on par. His defending could do with a little bit more zhuzhing, if you will, but he can play centre attacking midfield. He can play central midfield. We're paying him £42,000 a week, which is actually a really low wage for someone like Donny van der Beek. And there is an option to buy at the end. It is around 20 million. I don't think I'll exercise it unless he is absolutely sensational. But he comes back to the Premier League. Not, I mean, how long ago did he... I mean, he left for 23 million. He played 4 times. They actually sent him down to Atletico B for a time, and then he played 4 times for the first team, just banded as pointless and a waste of money really, and now he's gone out on loan again. It is going to cost us 185,000 to have him on loan for the remainder of the season, but to be fair, that is a very small price to pay even for someone of that quality. He's not amazing, and that's why I don't think we'll be exercising the option to keep him on, but it is what it is. In terms of outgoings, let's go to transfer history and have a little look at what we've just sold then. So, Pessina, you knew that, went to Atletico. Stanisic went to Atalanta. We actually didn't get 57 million in the end because a lot of money went back to Bayern Munich. I had a 30%, I think it was still 25-30% sell-on fee. It wasn't even of profit. It was just on the basic sell-on. The annoying thing about Stanisic, really, is that he was a particularly good player who was capable of playing right wing back, as well as playing the system of wide centre back. He was only 23 years of age. He'd played very well for, I think, was it in the 3rd tier? Yeah. I went down to the third tier to actually do a little bit of money balling. To be fair, he hasn't played that much for us. He only cost us 300,000 because his contract had run down with Bayern. They weren't willing to give him a new one by the looks of things, and we managed to snap him up. He was valued at around 20 to 25, but because this contract was basically done, to try and scathe off anyone else coming in for him, and offer him a contract, I went in there before that got to the point where you could offer him a contract and basically paid a fee of 300,000. It worked in the end because he played particularly well for us over the time that we had him. Didn't really break into the first team, and we made a fair chunk off him. Bayern made a lot of money off him as well because they put that 30% in. They knew that they were going to get a big chunk back. So they ended up getting around 14 million in the end for him, which is actually a fair amount of money to pay. And we ended up taking around 43 million. Again, a couple of other bits went out to 1860 München, as well as the other club that I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of. They got like 1 or 2% each as well. So in the end, we got around 40 million. I got given around 20, so the club kept half of it, which is really annoying. But in terms of our finances, we have got 65 million. We are currently over the spending of our wage budget, so I will need to balance the books before the transfer deadline passes. But as you can see, the club is in a very healthy position, 134 million. We have 65 of it available to us. Apparently 80% of the transfer revenue is made available. That's a lie, because they've literally just taken 50% off me. Bastoni has decided that he doesn't want to go to West Ham and he would rather stay at Brentford, which is great. I'm actually quite pleased. However, and I've just realised that Maitland-Niles has snubbed Real Sociedad as well, which is, again, fine, not a problem. But now all of a sudden, I've got this guy, Tim Leopold, from Bayer Leverkusen, who doesn't cost hardly anything. 140,000, is happy to be, I think, an emergency, agreed playing time, emergency backup. He would be on 51,000. Or would he, though? Would he be on 51 or would he be on 27.5? I'm confused as to how much current contract, wage 51. I think we would be paying him 27.5. I wouldn't have agreed to pay him 50,000. So we're not going to be paying him an awful lot at all. I'm still very tempted to buy him because he's pretty good. Can only play left wing back. I would imagine it's only going to be a matter of time before his legs start going. His positioning's not very good, but the rest of him, like his crossing is very good. He's decent at tackling. He can pass. He can mark. His work rate is very good. His physical's not bad at all. And he's got fairly decent mental stats. I don't know whether he'll ever play, though, because if Bastoni's going to stay... No, there's no point, is there? Let's just cancel the deal. It's a bit of a shame, actually, because I thought he looked all right. I did a lot of research. I did it because I didn't want to, find out who was going and then go into the market with only 5 hours left. So I'd rather do all my research in one go. We've got a couple of other transfers that could be happening. So coming into the club, that could be Pierre Kalulu, who can play right wing back, who can play left back as well, but mainly we would want him as a centre back to replace Stanisic. So not as good as Stanisic by any stretch of the imagination. Will cost the amount that we got given for Stanisic in the end, but I think he's probably better suited because his off the ball is much better and he's got slightly more pace. I think he's better suited to that centre-back role. And my thought process at the time was, he can play right wing-back as well. So because Maitland-Niles is going and Bastoni are going, we will need cover there sometimes. And Barbu may end up going this window as well, which is something I'm trying to stop, but we'll see what happens. Turns out we won't actually need him to play there now. But as a centre-back, I'm hoping he signs on the dotted line. But what a topsy-turvy transfer window this is. I didn't want to sign or sell anyone. People are forcing my hand. Kalulu has been granted a work permit and he will sign on the dotted line. He is getting a massive wage hike. He will be a squad player, so he knows he's not going to get to play all the time, which is good because he won't play that often really. His wages are going from 33.5 to 79, which is mental. The other thing that I really don't like in this guy's, is it a contract or the offer with Milan? I'm not a massive fan of this. Percentage of profit from the next sale is 50%. That was the only way I could get them to agree anything less than 40 million. They were adamant they wanted around 38, 40. I wasn't paying that for a backup centre-back, especially when Stanisic left for less than that after all the fees got taken out of it. So I would much rather say, hey, look, I'll give you 50%. Hopefully, Kalulu becomes a staple in this team and he's here for seasons and we don't ever have to sell him. But if we do sell him, anything over 25 million, which is what we bought him for, and half of it will go to Milan. So I just need to keep that in mind if we ever do come to sell him. But we do have now a replacement centre-back. Let's go to squad registration. I really hope nothing else happens by the end of today. But Kalulu can be put into the team. Donny van de Beek can be put in. He is requested to be transfer listed, of course not with us, because he's only on loan anyway. Extremely poor. Fantastic. And there we go. We can confirm, because they're all under 21s, the ones that aren't selected. That I'm hoping is the last thing I hear on it. Let me decline to speak to the media because that's what I do. I spoke to the media here. Basically, fans not happy Maksimovic is gone. Neither am I, funnily enough. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. 8 hours left of this transfer window. Something tells me that it's not over yet. Just a little inkling, really, more than anything else. I do have Kondogbia, of course, who can play central midfield, who will probably play instead of Donny van de Beek most of the time, because Kondogbia, kind of the guy I bought to play in that sort of box-to-box role anyway. And he has played one game. He's done all right, but obviously from the one game you can't really tell much. And from there on, we just need to bring in that centre-back. We still have Aya for the time being. Declan Rice can play centre-back if he needs to. Pretty sure Maitland-Niles, no he can't. Can Bastoni play centre-back? No he can't. Can anyone? Kalulu, there he is. So yeah, sorry, my bad. Kalulu's just come in, hasn't he? So, take Janelt off the bench. And there we go. I think we are now at where I would consider to be full strength again. We now no longer need to worry about bringing anyone in. In terms of finances then, what has that done to us? We have been left with 40 million touching. The wage is roughly about where it needs to be. In fact, it's a little bit under. So we've now balanced that without even having to move around the transfer budget. The only hope I have now is that no one else comes in for any player that we have. A lot of people may just ask why when it comes to this sign-in. Benjamin Sesko. Now, if you don't play Football Manager, you probably won't know of this guy. He plays for RB Salzburg in real life. But in FM, he is now about to play for Brentford. He won't be signing this season. I have decided that even though he would be, I would say, worthy of a first-team place, he is going to go back to RB Salzburg for the remainder of the season because we don't actually need him right now. But I'm planning for the future. So Sesko is a wonder kid, and he does turn out to be one of the best players in the game. As you can see, 20 years of age, he has some very good stats, but also he does fit the system that we play. The position, or the player, I should say, that he is going to replace in the team is going to be Onuachu. Now, his jumping reach and his heading, his heading is as good as Onuachu's. His jumping reach is only 15. Onuachu's is 20, which is the reason why he scored so many goals with his head. But Sesko can do everything else. He's got pace, he's got good finishing, he's 20, he's still going to improve. His off the ball is very, very good, so his movement is going to be nice. His positioning does need a little bit of work. But apart from that, I know that this guy turns into a very good player. I don't like buying these sorts of players where you know there's no need to scout them, even though he has actually been scouted. But there's no need to scout certain players. There's no need to do this, that, and the other because you know that they're wonder kids in the game. I'm not a massive fan of that because it's not very realistic. But when it comes to certain players like Benjamin Sesko and with Adeyemi as well, ironically, another player who we've bought, you can't turn them down because they are so cheap. Like, how no one has come in for this guy at 14.5 million is anybody's guess. He went out on loan a couple of times, but he's back there. He's scoring goals for fun, doing very, very well since Adeyemi left as well. So why no one's come in for him, I don't know. But he is now a Brentford player. Like I said, he'll go back out on loan for the remainder of the season to get some experience. Onuachu will have the remainder of the season with us. Now, Onuachu may stay at the club. I'm not saying he's going to go. He'll just play even less than he is right now. And there is a very strong chance, and by strong chance I mean it's almost certain now, that Petagna will leave the club in the summer because he will quite literally be surplus to requirements. But it does strengthen even more what is, in my opinion, a very strong attack force. We've got Adeyemi, we've got Nino, we've got Onuachu, and we have Petagna and Rafinha and Talismagno. Magno. Now we're going to add Sesko. Too many players, I understand, but we will probably end up having a change around in the summer anyway. Onuachu may leave, Petagna will definitely leave. Talismagno has been trained as a central attacking midfield player. He's also been playing on the right. Rafinha has also been playing on the left and as a central attacking midfield player. So I don't really see them as competition for the strikers. So 3 or 4 options for a striker, don't mind it. I appreciate the lighting, by the way, is horrific. But we are 1 hour away from completing the window. And with that, I think it's probably time for a bit of a roundup and to sort of show you the last couple of results, really, because I've not mentioned this yet. We lost our next game after the last game against Leicester. We lost to Wolves 1-0. Then the first half of this Bournemouth game was shocking. We were abysmal. We were so flat. Nothing was really working. And I changed the system, gave him a little bit of a pep talk, and it worked. The problem we have now is we go into the game against Arsenal with a fairly unfamiliar 11. Because Maksimovic has gone, Kondogbia has only played once. Luckily, the defence is the same and fit as well. And to be fair, if you look at the starting 11, I've got James Milner in there. He won't play. I think that's likely to be the way that we set up against Arsenal. But to be fair, only Kondogbia in there is an unfamiliar face. But when you look at the bench, no longer do we have Maksimovic to come on. We don't have some of the players that we've had before who know the system. There's no links in the midfield like there used to be. Like Maksimovic was linked to everyone. And yeah, it's a little bit of it's an annoying thing. I do feel like we potentially have strengthened for the best. I'm not a massive fan of the midfield right now. Like Kondogbia, I don't think is that much better than Maksimovic, so I'm not a massive fan of it. Donny van der Beek is quite literally there to fill the boots of Maksimovic. Kondogbia was to fill the boots of Pessina. But, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of certain things, but at the same time, I don't think we've been weakened. It's just that familiarity that we don't have anymore, because obviously people are not used to playing with each other. But that's the way it looks. We do have an email to read, agent offers, blah, blah, blah. That's actually how I saw Sesko was available, because the agent went, hey, look, Sesko is a thing. Do you want to buy it? I knew who he was, and I was like, oh, wow, he didn't sign for anyone. Yes, yeah, I'll have some of that. Adeyemi, of course, came from Salzburg, and we loaned him back to Salzburg for the season, and he ended up doing really well. The other player that I keep forgetting is actually coming is Ignacio Diaz. He, of course, will join us this summer. It's been 2 years in the making, this signing. He's not improved as much as I thought he was going to. In fact, I don't really think he's improved much at all. He's still only 17, to be fair to him. But he's cost us 30 million. And I don't think he's going to come in and be available for the first team straight away. I think he may need to go out on loan again. But this time, I'm going to try. I mean, he's playing in the first Spanish division, and he's playing well, but he doesn't seem to be improving. I don't really understand what's going on there, but he's coming in. We brought in more players than anybody else. Spurs got rid of more than anyone else. Thomas Lemar went to Manchester City from Atletico Madrid. Oh dear. And of course, top deadline day deal was Rodri going to Liverpool. Manchester City spent 118 million on in the window, not on deadline day. That would have been a little bit outrageous if they'd spent it all in one day. But there we are. There's the roundup. interesting window. Didn't want to do any business, ended up doing a lot of business, and that's the way it goes sometimes. So you've seen it. We lost to Wolves, we beat Bournemouth. I won't be back for the Arsenal game. We'll skip February altogether and come back for this first leg of the second round of the knockout stage in the Euros. Maybe we play the second leg instead of playing Aston Villa. I said yesterday, we'll play Aston Villa or Watford, but I might as well just play 2 legs and we'll see where we are there. In terms of how the team looks then, you have already seen it. Magno is still on international duty with Brazil's under-23s. It has caused a fair few problems because he is the main central attacking midfield player, and we've not really been able to play that system since he's gone, and he's been gone for a good month. Really frustrating that he's actually just up and left. I think, honestly, he would have said no. I'd have been like, I'm sorry, I've got domestic duty to be dealing with. They pay my wage. I am not going to be playing in the under-23s. But, yeah, at least we have Van de Beek now who can play centre attacking midfield. We just need to improve his morale. Everyone else is happy, apart from Caden Clark, who never gets football. But everyone else is relatively pleased. But, yeah, there we are. Time will tell whether that disruptive window is gonna cause problems for us. I know no gameplay there, but it was a deadline day panic in the end. I mean, I calmed it down a little bit, but sometimes you just have players who say, look, I want to leave, and that they just don't have their eyes on the bigger picture. And unfortunately, that happened a fair few times today. We did manage to keep Bastoni and Maitland-Niles, which I'm very grateful for, but I would imagine in the summer, again, as every year, we are probably going to have trouble holding on to our best players, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. If you have enjoyed that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.